In this video I'm going to show you 3 ways to unclog a bathroom drain. In the previous video I showed you how to unclog a drain with a drain snake. That's not always going to work, as in the case with my drains here, because the clog is deeper in the wall. First method I'm going to try is to unclog the drain with a plunger. With this method you'll have to seal off the overflow vent. While plunging you'll feel the suction on the plunger. Once the clog is removed you'll feel less suction while plunging. While I'm plunging I can tell it's not working, and when I remove the plunger the water doesn't go down. The next method I'm going to try is with a shop vac. For this method I remove the drain stop and plug the overflow vent. When I remove the vacuum it appears to have unclogged the drain. Now I'll run the water and check to see if it worked. And it didn't work because the sink is still filling up. Depending how bad the clog is, it may take several tries to get the drain unclogged. The drains are still clogged.
I'm going to try from that side now. Okay.
With the shop vac, I'm using the vacuum and the blowing capabilities of the vacuum to unclog the drain. With the vacuum, I'm trying to suck out the clog. And then I switch over to the blowing operation of the vacuum to try and push the clog down the drain. Now there are several sinks hooked up to the same drain, so I'm alternating from sink to sink, trying to get the clog to go down.
It might have been on this side. Wow, it's still filling up.
After several tries, the clog is not budging. After a couple more tries, I gave up.
Alright, one more time. I'm going to go get the router. Alrighty.
Before I move on to the next method with the handheld drain router, I remove the rest of the water in the sink so I can remove the P-trap. My son, who's holding the camera and helping me with the drain, asked me if this was going to make a mess when I removed the P-trap. The answer is no, it isn't, because I sucked the water out of the sink with the vacuum before I started working on the P-trap. First I loosen the nuts for the P-trap.
Why is the pipe there?
You'll also need to remove the piece going into the wall. This is the last method I'm going to use. It is a handheld drain snake. You start by inserting the snake down the drain. Leave about 6 to 8 inches of the cable showing between the drain and the tool. And depending on what tool you have, you'll either press the lever on the handle or flip the lock on the end of the drain snake. This will keep the snake from pushing back into the tool. While you're pushing in on the drain snake, rotate the handle. This will cause a drilling action and route the drain. If you have too much of the drain snake sticking out between the tool and the drain, the coil will act like a jump rope and will not route the drain. If this happens, just adjust the distance between the tool and the drain. When you find the clog in the plumbing, you will feel it bind up the drain snake. Keep working the drain snake until you don't feel it bind up anymore. My son asked me, how do I know how far to go? In my case, the sink is about 4 feet away from the toilet. The toilet is attached to the waistline, which is a 3 or 4 inch stack. This 2-inch drain goes into the 4-inch stack. Because my toilet is flushing properly, I know the clog is not in the stack. So I know the clog is somewhere in that 4 feet. You can see the coil start to bind up here and start whipping around. That's because I have too much of the coil sticking out of the tool. Here you can see I've shortened up the distance between the tool and the drain. So here I'm pushing a little at a time and turning the handle at the same time. Just to show you how easy this is, I'm going to walk my son through this who's never done this before.
Like that?
Yep.
And then just crank this?
And crank it. And push on it too.
Yeah.
There you go, it's going in, yeah.
Yeah. That's probably enough, right?
Yep.
Okay, it looks like it's just going through.
Good.
let's see how that goes. Come on.
Stuck again.
Oh,
There you go.
there's the lever here.
Now release it, pull a little more out, push it through.
Let's see what it does.
Here again, you can see if you pull out too much of the snake, you can't put any pressure on it, it just wants to whip around. Pressure on it.
Come on. I know you want to
Oh, it's binding up. It appears here we've reached the clog because the snake is bound up. You can see here how it's twisting the snake. Yeah, you can see it's about to bind back.
Oh, no, it's not. I think I'm stuck here.
Pull a little bit out, release the lever and pull a little bit out and see if you can push on it again.
Oh,
There you go, it's going.
yeah, I felt something.
Yeah, you did. Now it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah, and it doesn't it doesn't spin back.
Yeah, it doesn't. It appears we've gotten through the clog and now we're ready to recoil
Now
the
it's
snake
unlocked,
back into
it
the
won't come
tool.
back.
No, it's not going to feed. You'll have to do it yourself.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah, there's some hair.
I knew it.
Okay. Now I'm going to check my other sink and see if the water goes down. This sink is still backing up and going down slowly, so I'm going to route this one out too. Thinking about it now, I should have started with this one, seeing that it's farther down the line, and that could have eliminated having to route the other one out. I'm going to put this one back together and then go take the other one apart. When putting the drain back together, don't tighten the nuts until everything is aligned properly. Then tighten everything up. The back nut doesn't have any tabs on it, so I'll have to tighten it with a pair of channel locks. These plastic nuts do have tabs on them, so you only need to tighten them hand tight. Now I'll run the water, make sure it drains properly. Everything's fine here, so I'll do the other sink. Here you can see the chunk of hair I took out, and obviously it was too much for the vacuum to push through. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It's pretty gross. If that's too much for you to handle, you'll probably want to wear a pair of gloves. I did the other sink in the bathroom the same way. It didn't have nearly as much hair in it as the other line. Sometimes the plunger will work, and sometimes the shop vac will work. My hairball was just too tough for both of them.
Ooh, this time is smaller.
If you don't have a shop vac, obviously you'll have to get a drain router. I hope this video helped. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and click the bell icon. You can also check me out on Facebook. Until next time, thanks for watching.